Welcome back, audience, to another Dream Team video. I'm your humble host, Meesum777, and I'm joined here today with Cranky Crab.
Hello.
And if you can't hear it in my voice, I've got butterflies in my stomach because it seems like everything is working on YouTube. Everything seems to be streaming properly. So we're gonna not touch anything, and we're just gonna pray it keeps working.
Does this
So
mean we're
here's,
going to have to change the name to Yeetcast Live?
we might. We might actually. But yeah, so today what we're going to be discussing, I read a very interesting article on Forbes. It was linked from Reddit, so it's a chain of different things that came through. But the gist being that, is it legal? I don't. It's hard to break this conversation because I don't envy Bungie's position right now because they're having to make some hard decisions about the Destiny content vault, right? They're having to literally vault, quote unquote, a large portion of the game to keep on essentially what people are doing in the game so that we don't get a heavy amount of bloat going on in Destiny so that we can still maintain it on console and so forth, right? I am curious, Cranky, because I want to get kind of your opening thoughts on this, what you have to say about this.
Well, based on the conversation we had a little bit earlier, I mean, it sounds like the argument, as I understand it, is that we paid for content that's being vaulted, so more or less what we paid for is being taken from us. The counter argument being that
Right,
what we're
right.
actually paying for is a service rather than content, and so forth. I mean, I guess I'd say this. If I'm like anybody else in the community, the thought really hadn't crossed my mind. Like, I'm not concerned about content that's being taken away. I don't feel like I'm being taken, things I paid for being taken from me. I don't feel like that.
Right.
I think that I speak for probably a lot of us when I say that some of that content, I'm not using it anyway.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I would like it to be gone. Some of that stuff I don't want to have to do when it's on rotation or whatever. And I would be thrilled to have some new stuff to play. So I don't know if this is more of an academic question that is being asked in Forbes or practical, because I think if the rest of the consumers are anything like me, this is not an issue. This sounds more like just a theoretical conversation. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point of it, right? Because I don't think anybody's necessarily going to be taking any type of class action lawsuit against Bungie about this whole thing, right? Everything. Let's see here. I'm just kind of reading chat as we're going along, so part of my distraction. But yeah, I mean, it tends to be that everybody's pretty much okay with the Destiny content vault. A lot of people. Let me say this: as much as we sling hate at the Destiny community for being toxic or whatever, so on and so forth. Like we it tends to get a general negative connotation. Like, this is a pretty big thing for Bungie to, like, a really big decision that they're making, and the community is in big support of it, right? I haven't seen a whole lot of people really complain or bellyache about this too much, which is, I think, really cool. Like, let me put it this way: if I was in a position where I was Bungie and I was having to make this big decision of having to pull the trigger on, do we just essentially get rid of a large portion of the game, right? That's a sucky position to be in, right? But nevertheless, they went through with it, and they seem to be going with it, and it's the community as a whole seems to be receiving it really well. So, like you mentioned, like, it seems to be much more of a theoretical conversation to be having,
Yeah.
right? But it is something to talk about. We don't really have any good analogy for what this is. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't like, I guess the best thing that we could maybe think of this as is it's essentially Destiny 3. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, it's not that a lot of stuff is going away and we're paying for new stuff, and the stuff that we did pay for that we didn't necessarily have a promise for of staying or of, going away. You,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm kind of like getting off in the weeds here,
I
but
think I understand what you're saying, though.
yeah, it's like we're getting a Destiny 3, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's an unusual position to be in. By the way, sorry guys for everybody on YouTube. I know this isn't the most entertaining of views right now. I know you guys are only
Oh,
seeing.
yeah. We usually do clips.
Yeah,
That's
we've
right.
got stuff that when the video actually comes out, you'll see more of the stuff in the background, right? But for the time being, this is just for the discussion here. It's difficult to talk in game and shoot in game when we want to have like full-on conversation. So feel free to jump in the chat if you have something that you want to contribute. If you have an idea you want to tribute. Not that bad. I'll just stay kneeled here. Cranky and I will just stare longingly into each other's eyes.
Whoa, I didn't sign up for that.
Well, I mean, you didn't get the memo? I mean, this stream is marked for 18 and up. I'm just saying.
We are both EXO, if it matters.
We are both EXO. Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't like where this is going. Anyway. But yeah, we don't really have an analogy for this. I think the thing that people draw typical analogies for is like it's like a theme park. It's like an amusement ride, right? You pay for the amusement park ride, but you aren't guaranteed that you're going to get a spot on that really cool ride that you want to go on, right? So you're not necessarily upset about that because you kind of paid for the full package, right? You would be upset if the entire theme park was down, right? But if one ride's down, it's different. Now what we're kind of stepping into is that one theme park ride is being closed permanently, right? Let me ask chat. Now that we've got this cool platform that we can do this on, chat, what do you guys think about the Destiny content vault? Do you guys have any opinions on the matter? Do you guys think it's okay for Bungie to be getting rid of some of this stuff? I'd love to hear your thoughts here, and we're going to keep rolling on here. In the meantime, I'll be checking that out. But yeah, I don't envy Bungie's position. I think a good analogy as well is to talk about it in terms of their subscription service. And something that's interesting to point out as well is I think Bungie was aware of the fact that all of this stuff was going to happen around the last 3 seasons, because they started to make stuff very explicitly temporary, right? They made it very clear, like, hey, this isn't going to be around for a while, so enjoy it while you can, right? But that's only recent. So anyway, let's see. I've got some people in the chat here. Noob says some good things, some bad things, which is fair. I think the biggest thing that's the biggest frustration for me above everything else is the fact that we are losing certain maps in Crucible and certain exotic weapons and their catalysts. That's I don't like that. That feels bad all around, right? Because it's not just that you're losing access to certain missions or certain assets of like world are going away, right? But like we're talking an entire like weapon is going to be locked somehow. And the thing is that we haven't been given a very clear answer, both DTG on Reddit as well as just Destiny and the hot patch notes and such. They really haven't given us a straight answer as to how we're going to get this stuff back. Is it going to be exotic cipher? I love Arian Height here says, yeet, I agree. Losing exotics is a big rip. And yes, we need to have a lot of yeets. That's one thing we do not have enough in the Yeetcast is a lot of yeets. Cranky, your thoughts? I'll read over
Well,
chat
I
here.
was wondering if you were going to explain, but it sounds like they haven't said. But my assumption is that the reason that we're losing access to them is because the quest lines and so forth that are tied to them are tied to old content.
Correct.
It's
yes.
not like they're deleting the weapon model and whatever programming goes with it. So they can, it's like we go to Cryptarch right now, and he's got like 4 of the last exotics, like Ariana's Vow and crap like that, right?
Right.
They could plug those exotics in anywhere else, and I don't think it would be that hard if they permanently just said, "Yep,
deleting the
these
guns.
exotics for you." Yep, no luck. That would be a problem. I don't think they're going to do that. I think there'll be a different way to acquire it.
Right. Well, obviously, right, but they really haven't talked about it too much. Let's see here. Dante, CJ in the chat says, only issue I have with putting it away is if it comes back and we're expected to pay for the same things again. The exotic part is
bullshit.
Weird. What was that?
That would be bullshit. I'm not paying.
Yeah, I think there would be
bullshit.
riots in the streets, right? Yeah. Sebastian says, I think the DCV is fine. It gives rooms for things that maybe are more big or has more things. It is bad to lose forges. What was that?
And just new and fun.
Right. Yeah.
Content.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, for the people who are a bit of a naysayer, and I don't think there's a lot of them, but if you are a bit of a naysayer on this whole thing, right, the whole Destiny content vault, be honest with yourself. How much Forges do you really play outside of just
never. God, dude. Try getting Laminarch and Jotun, and I never used the damn things. I'm not even a collector, but I hated every minute of that.
Yeah.
That was not my favorite
Nobody,
at all.
nobody like outside. I think like for the smaller stuff, like there's a large portion of game that people don't play, and that's why Bungie's
Yeah.
doing it, and that's why nobody cares, right?
Well, as I say, when you're a kid and you're not eating your vegetables, your mom comes over and she's like, "Oh, you don't like it? Hmm? Well, I guess I'll just take it away." No, she says you got to eat it.
Yeah,
Bungie's like, "Hey, you don't like the asparagus? We'll take it away. Here's some
right.
marshmallows. Like, I'm
Yeah,
good with it."
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Let's keep going on in the chat here. But yeah, also I think I was talked about in a tweet or something like that. But the exotics are not retiring, vaulted. They're losing the original way to be changed. They will be they're losing the original way to be obtained. They will be changed. I'm sad. Menagerie leaving. Fun mode with good loot. Yeah, we need more menagerie modes to be sure.
For sure.
Which can actually bring up another conversation here. Let me get through these here real quick. I mean, I do Forges daily, to be honest. They mentioned a similar system to D1 exotic vendors. Yeah. So certain things, like the Menagerie. I think the Menagerie was by far, for a PvE activity, one of the biggest hits Destiny has received, right? And the fact that that's getting vaulted and we aren't getting promised any type of similar thing replacing it, how do we reconcile the fact that certain things that we might like about the game, like let's hyperbolize this a little bit, okay? Let's say that there was only a handful of people who actually played PvP, okay? And we were in that elite few. And they said, hey, not a lot of people are playing PvP, so we're going to do this thing called Destiny Content Vault, and we're going to vault all of PvP, right? Where do we stand as players for something like that? Do we keep playing Destiny, right? And like, my obvious answer is no, of course not. I don't want to play Destiny if I don't want to play PvP. For me, PvP is the main reason I play the game is for PvP, right? And I wonder if Destiny will lose players because things like the Menagerie and so forth aren't coming back in any similar way. I don't think anybody's in that stance right now because, like I said, it's the asparagus, right? A lot of people are just like, it's all right if it goes away. But things like a Menagerie, which are very popular, we might see some backlash on that. Your thoughts, Cranky?
Well, part of what I was thinking while you were saying that is that, I mean, I'm not a game developer, so I don't know what goes into that. But perhaps some of it is as they're closing in on this, finishing this project. Well, what feedback are they hearing from the community? Is the community overwhelmingly pissed off on Reddit because the Menagerie is going away? Well, then we should push up the date on this Menagerie replacement product, or maybe we should start talking about it. I don't know. Maybe they look to us to see what reaction we're going to give them about
I
these
see what you're
things.
saying. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that is an interesting point. Is there sort of an action-reaction thing that Bungie can do? And it makes me wonder, because that's actually a really good point. I don't know, has Bungie done that intentionally where, without necessarily eliciting feedback, like what's going on at the Destiny Content Vault, they're not asking for feedback. They're just doing it, right? Like, it's that old Zavala meme, whether we liked it or not, right? But I wonder if that is the case. Can you think of anything that might support that idea, or things that have happened previously that they've done that's like that supports that idea?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, off the top
I
of
know
my
I'm putting you
head,
on the spot, right?
yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, I want to say hard light, like that they were just as they were responsive to it, but that's just a balancing thing. That's not really like content.
Right.
What did we get before? I think Horde mode, right? They were teasing Horde mode at one
I
point
do
a few
remember
seasons
that.
ago.
Yeah.
And that was the stupid towers on Mars. What do we call that
Right.
activity?
That became Escalation Protocol, which everybody
Escalation
was just
Protocol.
kinda,
So that came from a mission. I don't
Right.
remember what the mission was, but we went somewhere. It was like in the forest or whatever, and we kept getting waves of enemies. It was like a little PvE mission, and everyone was commenting on YouTube about how much fun that was and how much fun a Horde mode would be. And they said, "Oh, we're going to make a Horde mode," which turned out to be that. But yeah, I feel like that is an example of they heard what the community was saying and tried to build off of it.
Okay. Let me see here. What Dante said here. When they talked about it going away, they mentioned it was going to get eventually combined. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, that talking about things that they tease. Let's mention SRL here real quick because I don't know if you guys remember. And yes, I do think it's a little bit of. I think there might be a bit of a buzz. If you can pinpoint it exactly, let me know. YouTube, let me know. Chat, I should say, let me know. Anyway, but talking about things that Bungie has kind of hinted at or mentioned or something like that, and then we never got it, is Luke Smith himself said, keep asking about SRL. Keep mentioning SRL. And I can tell you from somebody who keeps an eye on the Reddit, SRL gets mentioned. You hear about SRL. And we haven't gotten SRL, nor have we gotten any promises of SRL, right? Are people really crying themselves to sleep at night over not getting SRL? Probably not. But at the same time, Scapegoat, I know there are some people who really like SRL and would love to see it come back. And despite them saying, like, oh yeah, we might bring this back, and there's been nothing mentioned about it. You know what I mean?
I'd rather it that way. What I'd rather see if we're going to get something like that, like, let's take Trials. Trials hasn't gone swimmingly since coming back.
Why? Whatever do you mean?
So I think if they brought SRL back, it would be better off if it were improved instead of just, we had this in our back pocket and it's covered in lint. Here you go. Like a Mario Kart-ish Sparrow Racing League.
Dude.
Like not just trying to outmaneuver each other on this circular course, but like Mario Kart level stuff. That would be interesting. Something like that.
Yeah, dude, if I'm honest with you, okay, YouTube chat, I am totally fine if you want to click away for a second to go check this out. Google or YouTube XGRA. It was an old game on the PlayStation 2. It was about futuristic motorcycles racing at the speeds of sound, and it was absolutely amazing. I'm not a fan of racing games. Like, how often do you see me talk about or play a racing game? But holy cow, was it fun. I played it so much. I would still play it, especially if there was legit PvP, player versus player stuff. The way that it would work is that you had your bike, right, obviously, and you had a shield, like a health that would regenerate over time, and every single bike had a different weaponry of some sort, whether that be cannons or grenades or this lasers, like all this kinds of stuff, right? You could get speed boost from hitting strips on the road, and the thing is that it was almost like somebody took Hot Wheels, like the idea of like Hot Wheels tracks, and put them into space and then cranked it up to an infinity in terms of the speed. You get going so freaking fast. It's like you're sitting there, like you can feel like yourself rattling as you're zipping. You can go so fast that the speed of sound breaks. Like if you reach just fast enough, like peak speed, you'll hear like this thunder sound, and then everything will go quiet, and your vision zooms in. It's like stuff is just zipping by you, and you're racing in between racers and such, trying to maintain your health. Holy cow, that would be amazing. Now, will we get that with something like SRL? Hell no, there's no way that'll be that fun ever. But
that's its own game.
That would be the dream right there. Like, we're talking like another layer of game. Like, that's the thing I mentioned in the other video. If you guys saw the other video talking about the stuff we need in stuff that would be really cool in Destiny, a roguelike mode, and like a Trouble in Terrorist Town type thing, something else in PvP. Like, if we can get more differences in kind, is what that's called, more of a difference in kind in the game, that would really help everything. Because the thing is let's say PvP is boring. Oh, go play Sparrow Racing League and have a lot of fun in Sparrow Racing League. Right? Oh, not having fun with PvE? Well, why don't you go try the roguelike mode, and maybe you can switch it up for you. Dante jumped in the chat here talking about the DCV and something that was mentioned in the Twab. He said, quoting, "So starting in year 4, any exotics tied to a quest that has been vaulted, like those listed above, will now become available through a new memorial kiosk situated among the vault kiosk in the tower." Oh, I did not know that, Dante. Thank you. Let's see here. It was in the Twab under completing your collection subheader. Yes, Ynub, a racing thing, like SRL. If you're not familiar with SRL, it was Sparrow Racing League. I know we kind of like assumed everybody was familiar with it, but yeah. The gist is that you would jump on your Sparrow, you would race against other Guardians, first one to finish. There was essentially little flagpoles that you could fly through that would give you a boost of speed as well. It was a matter of maintaining your boosts, and as making sure that you can hit those corners right, trying to cut them real tight and such. It wasn't bad. It just kind of lacked a little bit of depth. It was just pretty much like, it was one of those things like you could theoretically, once you had gotten it muscle memoried, like you could essentially set a bot to do it perfectly very easily. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't require a lot of adaptation. There wasn't a lot of like on the fly decision making. There was just pretty much like once you figured it out, you've kind of got it. I mean, maybe I'm stepping on some people's toes there, but anyhow. So yeah, I would love to see more stuff in the game. I would love, love, love to see more stuff, just different stuff. Like, oh my gosh, I would nut if we got space combat. Could you imagine if we got spaceship combat? Holy cow.
I was gonna, while you were talking, I was thinking, you know, part of what made Destiny interesting to me from the beginning is that I played Halo.
Right.
Like a lot of people, Destiny is kind of like Halo in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely loved vehicles in Halo. I think especially in Halo 3 when I don't think we got to fly Pelicans, but we got whatever that little single individual one-man ship. Well, I think you could have like a gunner on each wing. That was badass.
Right.
I would love to see some vehicles in Destiny, or even a map that could maybe accommodate some of that. I still think I'd like to see PvP maps like D1, one or two of them, that were just those big ass battlefields.
Yeah, I like those. One of my memories I will never forget from Destiny 1. I was on one of those really big ass maps, right? It was on Earth, I think, and somebody was flying through with a Sparrow. I had Truth on me, right? Somebody was flying through with a Sparrow, and I was kind of close. He was like right on top of me. I'm kind of dipping behind this rock to get cover from a sniper, and the dude flies right over the top of me. Just for a split second, I lock onto the target and I fire, but the thing is he was way over the top of me by the time I had fired. But I got the lock, right? So I stand up to go about what I'm doing, and I get sniped, right? So I'm like, damn it. And I'm watching just in my ghost, and I see like a striker missile come out of the skies. The freaking Truth curved up, back, and around, and freaking like freaking Brett Favre just hit him from all the way across the other side of the map. The thing still tracked him, and it landed right on his stupid head in his Sparrow, and it was the best thing I had ever experienced. I love those types of things. I love making opportunities for those types of moments, and I would love to have those come back.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to have an environment where, I mean, sniper rifles are still pretty deadly in this environment, but even like scouts and stuff, there's really not a place for that.
Right. Yeah, unless you get goes for some of those big maps, which a lot of them are being removed. Rip.
Yeah.
It's really sad. It's really sad. But anyway, I think we should go ahead and wrap up, don't you think?
Hell yeah.
You got anything else you want to say?
No,
you got something to say?
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's always nice having you here. I always appreciate your commentary and that honey smooth voice. Honey's not smooth.
We'll get you everywhere.
What was that?
Sticky and delicious.
Whatever.
That's what you wanted to call me, sticky and delicious, but you couldn't find the right
word. Just as a heads up to our audience here and to the people who are catching this after the fact, we are starting to do a top 10 clips of the week. I want to, or not necessarily of the week, but of the insert time frame here. I want to start doing that. So if you've got a clip that you want to submit that you've stored on like a Google Drive or a YouTube video, join the Discord. It should be in the link. The link should be in the description. There'll be a chat room in there that you can drop it in. Just make sure that you read the code of conduct and such. So you're not an a-hole, right? But if you've got a clip that's awesome, we might feature it. So if you're interested in that, be sure to let us know. Another thing as well is that school is starting soon, and we have a sponsor. So we might have this sponsor come up in not this video, but the next video. So just keep an eye out for that. We're very, very grateful.
Never mind. Go ahead. I'm not going to say it. Go ahead. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, we'll get some more information on it later. Just letting you guys know for right now that through all you guys' support and everything that you guys have been giving us, we're making it. We're on our way. So anyway, thank you everybody who joined me here. Thank you for pardoning our dust here. Be sure to let me know in the chat if you've got something else, or in the video itself, if you can drop into the comment of the video if there's something that we need to improve on. Somebody mentioned some buzzing, which we could probably try to figure out. It might be the PlayStation, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining me. Everybody, bless your faces and deuces.